Hello, everyone. Welcome to TestMu Conference 2026. I'm Prince Devani, Marketing Specialist at TestMu AI, and I will be hosting this session. Joining us is Wessel Braakman, Senior Quality Assurance Consultant at Bouvet. He spent almost over a decade in quality space as a tester, as a developer, a scrum master, and an automation consultant. These days, and from very long period of time, testers and developers, they ship the same product, sit in the same stand-up, and still end up on opposite sides of the table. Wessel will be discussing this. Today's session will be titled on Working with Developers, a Tester's Survival Guide. Before we start this session, two quick things before we begin. You have to drop your questions in the Q&A box and we will take them at the end of the session. And all the learnings, all the key takeaways, please do share them on LinkedIn and X with hashtag TestMuConf and do tag us. Wessel, over to you.
Thank you very much. I'll try to share my screen. Takes 1 second. Let's see if I pick the right one. That's it. Please give me a heads up if you guys can see my screen. You see it, Prince?
Yes, this is visible.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So my presentation tonight is called today. It's evening for me. It's called Working with Developers, a Tester Survival Guide. My name is Wessel Braakman. I am a senior quality assurance consultant at Bouvet, which is a big consultancy company in Norway. Moved to Norway from the Netherlands about 3.5 years ago. And besides my job as a consultant, I also work in 2 nonprofits where we talk about AI and ethics and such things. Very interesting. I do testing, test automation, strategy, and leadership. And within this presentation, I will look like this, and I will be called the tester. So if anyone's confused, I hope this looks like me, a bit younger maybe, but this is what I'll look like throughout the rest of the presentation. So, survival guide to working with developers. I've worked in IT for 12, 13 years now. I'm sure a lot of you guys worked a lot longer than that in the IT business. And one thing I noticed, it's working with people can be kind of a jungle. Not because every environment is a mess, but mostly because there's a lot of species of developers, product owners, bosses, managers, whatever. And today I will be focusing on a couple of developers that I've met on the way. I'll specifically be focusing on 4 types, which I call the driver, the analyst, the supporter, and the enthusiast. And I will share experiences. This will not be an academic talk. I will share my personal experiences of working with these types of developers as a tester and what I've learned about them and from them. So this is me, the tester. You know my name already. I am myself, I'm curious, I'm connecting, I'm pragmatic, and I can be influential if I want to. And I'll be talking about 4 developers: the driver, the analyst, the supporter, and the enthusiast. Let's start with the driver. The driver is a type of developer that is determined, decisive, results-driven, and likes impact, not chatter. This is the type of guy that really wants to work on the important bits of an application and not so much the trivial bits that anyone can fix. He wants the big stuff. And I met the first one of these probably like 10 to 12 years ago at the start of my career. And it was an interesting interaction. So the first time I met this type of developer, I came to them with an issue. So I told them, okay, I found this bug in the export feature, explained them what happened, and I told them, yeah, so I got this null pointer exception in my loggings. So he tells me, okay, well, does it block anything? And it throws an exception, like it's not correct, it throws an exception. Well, but for who does it throw an exception? Does a user see this? Does a user actually do this? So I wasn't exactly sure. I was quite new to the application. And I just found something. So I was kind of proud and I wanted someone to fix it. So he told me, so if nobody uses it and it bothers no one, then why are we actually talking about it? So this developer kind of dismissed me because I didn't talk about impact. I didn't ask them, can you fix this to help these amount of users? And I kind of wasted their time, in their opinion. Well, I thought any bug should be fixed. So the issue here was red developers, they need clarity, confidence, and consequences. If it's not a big issue, they really don't want to work on it. So after that, which you can imagine, I felt kind of down. I felt really dismissed by this red developer. So I talked to people about this with more experience than me, and they explained to me that these different types exist and that this was one that really cares about impact, really cares about user impact, wants to do the big stuff. So I came to them again, but now in a different way. I told them that I found an issue in the export feature, but I added that it impacts 30% of all users. It also may block exports and delay critical deliveries. So straight from the bat, I told them that this is something big. This needs to be fixed. Told them how to reproduce it, so which steps to take. And this time I got them triggered. So this developer said, okay, so that's the problem. That's worth my time. And he wanted to fix it. And instead of dismissing me, he this time told me he'd prioritize it and update me afterwards. So I don't know if anyone can say or type something that went better for me this time than last time. You're welcome to use the chat if anyone would like to write something. Yeah, so this time it worked because I came to him with clear impact. I gave them specific information. I showed them that I understand what matters. It's not like I found this small thing that I see on my PC when I'm testing, but I told them about this thing that really impacts our users, which was a big problem. So this time they did respond in a way that worked for me, for us both. And I was really content because he was working on the issue and he was fixing it, and I would be able to retest it after. It was, of course, a fix that worked afterwards. So that was the red one. Next up, we have the Analyst. The Analyst is analytical, detail-oriented, likes facts, needs precision and evidence. And the most blue people I've met, they would also sit in meetings really quietly. But when they spoke, everyone was quiet because we would always mention something that nobody thought of and was really, really important. So they're real thinkers. They're in their head a lot. I'm not. So let's look at my first time I talked to one of these. So the Analyst, I came to them with, I don't know, I think we had a spinner on a website and every now and then it was working and sometimes it wasn't. So I just told them something weird was happening. So directly they asked me, so what exactly are you seeing? I'm like, yeah, not really sure. I see this thing sometimes and it doesn't happen the other times. It just doesn't feel right. I asked them to take a look. So they asked me what steps to reproduce it. And I told them I didn't write them down. And the minute I said that, they turned their back to me and started working on their own stuff again. Well, obviously, me as a tester could have done better here, right? I know that, but I'm just trying to share my experiences and what I learned. So in this case, the wrong way to approach this person, this blue type, was being too vague, not providing evidence. And most importantly, I couldn't even tell them what I did to show them what actually happened. May have something to do with that it was something flaky that happened every now and then, but I didn't write down anything. So I didn't get anywhere with them. So I felt a bit down after this one because, yeah, I just wanted them to look at it together with me so we could figure it out, and they needed something else. So again, after talking to my peers with a lot more experience, they explained to me that this is a different type of person and they need something different than what I'm used to giving. So, okay, I tried again. And this way I told them, I found something, I'm sure exactly what it is, but I'd like to understand it better. So, same question, what exactly are you seeing? Fact-based. This time I can tell them that, okay, every time, or half of the time, I press this button, I should be seeing this, but the spinner isn't loading. Here's the data to prove it. I think I made a screenshot or a video of it. And asked them, can we walk through an example together? And this time she's like, yeah, let's break it down. And I explained her exactly what happened and how it happened and how to reproduce it. And she saw what was happening, could make sense of it, and could fix it. So this time, it works a lot better. I provided context and specific details, shared evidence and data, and I respected their need for something different than my need. Like, I wanted to spar with them about it. I hoped that they could shed some light on what was happening. But they required me to give them something more than just, I found something fuzzy that isn't working for me. So this time, the result was not me feeling down. The result was me sitting together with a Blue developer, looking at the issue and trying to figure it out together, which felt a lot better to me, to be honest. Next up is the green developer, the supporter. This guy is supportive, or girl, supportive, people-oriented, and values harmony and collaboration. This is the person in your team, the developer in your team, that knows how you're doing, knows how your wife and kids are doing, and asks you how your weekend was, that kind of stuff. They care about the connection, working together. So I just talked a lot to these red and blue ones. So by the time I met the green supporter type, I told them, hey, I found a bug in the export function. Oh, cool. What's going on? So I told them I already looked into it and I figured out the root cause. It's this validation check. So I actually told them what needed to be fixing. I already did my digging because the red and the blue required that of me. But instead of letting them have a voice in this, I told them, you just need to fix the validation logic in the export service, line 142. It should be a quick fix. And let me know when it's done, and I'll test it again. This did not work with this type of developer. This was completely fact-based. I actually basically gave them an assignment and went on my merry way. But green wanted to explore it together. I shouldn't have told them what to do. And there's no shared understanding or ownership. Like, I told them I found something, I told them how to fix it, and I told them to fix it. So there was no connection, and they weren't part of the solution. They just got an assignment to fix, and see you later. So this time, it was actually the green developer who was acting differently. They seemed a bit down. They were not happy. I thought I gave them a clear assignment, you know, like red and blue loved. But this guy was different. So people told me that, okay, well, this guy actually wants to talk to you about it. They want to have a cup of coffee about it. They want to spar about it. They want to be involved. So I got the chance to try again. So this time I told them, hey, I found this bug in the export feature and I wanted to run it by you. So I didn't tell them I already found what the root cause was. No, I want to discuss it with them. I told them what I've tried. I told them how this would impact users, but not in a way to tell them that this is important and they have to fix it ASAP, but more in a way of sharing information. And I saw that he appreciated it. So I asked them if they had any idea on what could be causing this. And he actually suggested to work it out together. So not me giving an assignment, not him saying, I got this from here. No, exactly what we would expect from a green developer. They want to do it with me. Fix it, find it with me. So this time I showed them respect. I treated them as more of a person and less of a bug fixing factory. We created a much more positive environment because I involved them. And yeah, in the end, we actually sat together, drank some coffee, and talked about it. So that's a much better outcome than them being down because I didn't respect their wishes or their needs as a developer. Next up is the Enthusiast. And the Enthusiast is someone who is energetic, is idea-driven, values freedom and fun, and gets bored with routine. So this is the type of developer who comes to a meeting with at least 20 ideas that nobody's waiting for and nobody asked for. And they're just always thinking inside the box, thinking outside of the box. They're always on. And I might be one of them, but yeah, with the right team, I function. So the first time I met one of these, I told him I found a bug. He's like, yeah, so what's the idea behind it? Really eager from the start. So I asked them, after telling them the bug, I asked them, can you fix this issue? He's like, yeah, but what if we redesign the whole flow instead? Which was something I wasn't planning on, but okay. So I told them, this is blocking users right now. There's maybe 30-50% of users that have an issue with this. He's like, yeah, but imagine if we added AI to it. Like everyone likes to do now, right? So he just went on, started doing his thing, building something awesome. And yeah, this was not what I wanted from them. But that's not just their fault. It's also me who's to blame for this because I focused on ideas and not an actual problem. I didn't give them a concrete thing that they should be fixing. They thought about all these new possibilities and I didn't put the brake on them. And routine fixes just don't do it for them. I don't know if you guys have met these developers, but I had this one guy who would work on the weekend and then come up with like 10 fixes for problems on Monday, which was nice, but nobody knew how he did it and nobody knew the thought process behind his fixes. So it was a nice incentive, but not something that that was allowed afterwards. But yeah, build something awesome with a lot of AI. As you can probably imagine, I was frustrated after this because I came to them with, in my opinion, a simple bug that should be fixed. And they instead wanted to revamp the entire application. Of course, I learned from this experience and talked to people about it and understood more about this developer and what he needs. So this time I went to them and I told them, hey, I found something that's super weird. And like super weird, it's a bit fuzzy, but also cool. So they were eager, wanted to know more. So I told them, okay, concretely, this is what's happening. I expected this, but I saw this, and I tried these things thus far. So they were on, right? I didn't give them a simple bug. I explained all the things that I tried, out of the box maybe even. And they're like, yeah, I see what you mean. I said, I have a few more ideas that we could try. What do you think about, and then a couple of more things. And he's like, yeah, I love it. Let's try it. Only this time I told him, let's work on the fix together. I'll show you what's wrong and you can take it from there. And this time I showed enthusiasm and positivity myself instead of just coming to them with some bug. I gave them space for ideas and creativity, but I also kind of limited it because I was in charge of what we were actually going to do. So he felt free. He could think out of the box as much as he wanted, as long as it was within my scope. So in the end, we had a really fun session. Probably did some crazy stuff anyway, but we got the bug fixed. So far, I've talked about the driver, the analyst, the supporter, and the enthusiast, and shared opinions about that. But I also, more recently, found another persona, which is the system thinker. And this one differs from the others because it's an analytical person, sees the big picture, so not just the task ahead, but has the overview. Is a deep thinker, and therefore also needs context, patterns, and thoughtful discussion. So this can be seen as maybe someone aspiring to be a software architect after working as a developer. So I came to them with a problem. I told them we can probably fix it by changing this or that validation. And they looked at me and they told me, yeah, that's cool, but that validation is also used by the import flow and the batch job. Do we know what happens there? So I'm like, no, they would fix this bug, right? Maybe a bit too positive or naive from my side. But yeah, this developer needs to understand what else depends on it before we change it. And that is, of course, very valid. That's something I should have done in this case. So I was to focus on a local solution to a problem that actually lives system-wide. And I kind of skipped my own thought process of looking beyond my own application. And that's exactly something that purple developers would need in order to take this seriously. So I kind of smacked myself on the forehead, as we do, because the purple developer actually pointed out something that I should have thought of before actually going to them. So the next time I went to them, I was much better prepared. So yeah, of course, the example is similar, but I found something in the validation that could fix the bug, but I'm not sure what else it depends on. So I did my research. It was a really large, complex environment. So I wasn't actually exactly sure where to look. But I made that visible, or I talked to this person about it. So I told them, can we look together at where it's used before we decide how this should be fixed? So purple developer said yes. She knows it is also used by the import flow and batch job. So that's really good. So changing in here could affect data quality and some reports generated by these jobs. So we should find a solution that fixes it without breaking those. And I think in addition, we found one more place in the application where the same validation was used that we also had to take into account. So in this case, I didn't even come to this person now with the exact solution or all the dependencies that were running on this, but I came to them with at least the knowledge that fixing this on this one local point in the application may affect something else in the application. And that was not something this developer was having. So I focused on understanding this full context. I looked at some patterns and dependencies. The fact that I couldn't find them at that point is another story. But we explored together before deciding on which way we should fix it. And that was really valuable. So after this, we kind of sat together and walked through all the points in the application where the validation was used. And like I said, we found one more, I think, and we fixed it in a way that was compatible with all the points of the application where it was used. So it was a much better outcome. So looking back at my first encounters with these types of developers. With Red, I thought Red completely dismissed my bug or dismissed me as a tester. But actually, it wasn't dismissal. It was more miscommunication, because I didn't know what kind of stuff they wanted to hear, what was important to them, and what they needed in order to get the bug fixed. Similar thing happened with Blue. The Blue developer also, I felt dismissed because I couldn't reproduce the steps. But they just told me that reproducing steps is very important, and you should always have reproducible steps when going to any type of developer, even though maybe the yellow one would have accepted the lack of steps and just rehalt the application anyway. The green one was really interesting for me, because this time it was me who was pushing too hard. It was me who was kind of feeling okay afterwards. It was the green developer who was feeling down because I didn't make a connection. I didn't respect them as a person. I just talked to them like it were some kind of bug fix factory. And that really didn't work for them. And well, yellow, you can see I think that was my actual face there when they started talking about implementing AI and everything. But the yellow developer can be a really powerful tool in the team, but they need scope, they need some way of restrictions, and they need some form of guidance so they don't go too far outside of their own box. And lastly, the purple one made me feel slightly incapable, because they thought about something that I should have thought of as a quality assurance consultant. But like I said, the important thing is to learn from your experiences. Then looking at the second time I approached them, or later on, and that's basically how I approach all these types now, because I have an easier time recognizing them, because I talked a lot about them. The red developer fixed the bug I wanted them to fix after having a nice chat with me about it, because I was able to know that they need information about impact and importance of the work they're doing. The blue developer was able to fix my bug, because this time I knew that this person needs facts and they need reproducible steps in order to reproduce it on their own machine and actually see what I am seeing. The green developer, I had a nice coffee with them and we sparred about it instead of me giving them an assignment and heading off. And the yellow developer working together with me, keeping his ideas in check within scope. And finally, the purple developer pointing out to me that I should think more about the scope of the entire system and not just the one application my team is working on. So that was a much more positive experience for me the second time around. So to sum up, I, as a tester, have worked with several types of developers, and it's not just these four. There's this fifth one, and I think anyone that's logged on now and watching this could probably think of a lot more personas that you could work into a presentation like this. But these are the ones that I've learned a lot about, and these are also the ones that I can easily recognize now. Like I said, the blue one in the meetings, very silent, but whenever they speak, everyone's quiet and they listen to what they have to say. The red one, driving decisions based on user impact. The purple one, having the overview, like you're working in this one team, but that person can tell you, yeah, our team can do this fix, but the other teams will be affected as well. The green one, really harmonious, is that a word? Really busy with everyone in the team being happy and knowing everyone's feelings and how everyone works together. And then the yellow one, who just spits out ideas all day, and hopefully with the right guidance, it's the right ones. So I got a lot smarter from talking to these people and working with these people. I also wanted to add the red, blue, yellow, and green look like the disk types. If anyone's familiar with the disk method of personalities, they're loosely based on that, but these are all mostly based on my own experiences. My plan is to make more of these comics based on even more types, and also maybe work with different tester types. And I'm really thinking of maybe creating a type of tester survival guide with these comics. So if anyone has suggestions of different developer types or has situations they really want to share about any of these types or any types they have been in contact with themselves, then feel welcome to connect with me and have a chat about it. It's 9:30. That was my presentation. There will be QA afterwards. But for now, thank you for your time and attention.
Yes, yes. Thanks a lot, Wessel. Thanks a lot. And you seamlessly stated the problems and you explained it in the most easiest manner you could, with all the practical applicability, the personality types, everything. It was really an insightful session. Well, this was certainly an insightful session, as we know, because we have received a lot of chats and questions. Let's start with the Q&A. Let's don't waste time and start with the Q&A. So I will be pinning few of the most upvoted one on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this is our first question. From your point of view, is it more challenging to work with developers or with business leaders? And either way, why?
Yeah. So for me, it's the business leadership. And that's a personal thing for me. I know there's different types of business leaders as well. And we could probably make the same presentation about those. But I click better with developers because we are working on creating the actual application, while business leaders often have to think more politics and like the reasons for developers to act in a way or do stuff clicks more with me than the business leaders' reasons.
Certainly, certainly. Well, we'll go on with the next question. We have got a lot of questions. So the
That's
audience
good.
is a good listener. Yes. And they were really enthusiastic, that means. So, yes. So here is the next question. How do you align developers and business leaders when their goals for quality engineering conflict? A very practical one.
That is a very practical one. I need to think a bit on this one because I just mentioned
Sure.
that they're really completely different people, right? But I do
Yes.
think the quality engineers, like the testers or quality assurance people, I know it's a team effort, but that they can play a big role in this because they can explain better, maybe even better than developers, the importance of doing quality right straight away. So I think we as testers should coach teams and also coach business leaders when it's when quality is involved. I'm not sure whether that answers the question,
No, it
but
certainly does. It certainly does. Okay, we'll
okay.
go on with the next question. Yes, here we are. What's the best way to approach juniors versus senior developers in terms of testing follow-ups?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk purely from my own experience, right? There's no academic knowledge
Yes.
behind this. It's just me. Um, Junior versus senior developers. Juniors, I basically take their hand a lot more than seniors. So seniors, I can go to with a problem, and they either look at it themselves or I send them a screenshot. And with juniors, I try to also, I say, give them a taste of what we quality people are doing. So if this junior has some, I found this issue and I go to a junior, then I would also show them where in the logs I found it, how I found it, which steps to reproduce it, a lot more, I say it, hands-on and together than I
Yes.
would with a senior developer.
Yes, yes, that absolutely answers it. And I would say that instead of really categorizing as juniors and seniors, we should split them in the personality types you mentioned during your session.
Maybe both, yes.
Yes, certainly. Yes. So we'll move on with the next. We often face challenge working with requirement managers. How to handle them?
Uh, I
Well,
don't
they
know if I
comes
have
with
an
a
answer to,
well,
to
yeah,
this one.
managers come with a lot of requirements, that
Yeah.
ranges from, very extremes. So how to handle a very extreme requirement?
I'm not sure if this completely connects with my presentation, but I can try to answer it. So
Yes.
if you get a lot of requirements, then there should be someone who is able to prioritize that list. And I think there should be someone like a product owner that should say something about that list. Like the requirement manager, I haven't come across one. Is that different from a product owner?
Yep.
Because in my last project, I would write the requirements together with my product owner. So I would make sure myself that the requirements would be testable and measurable and all that kind of stuff. So if a requirement manager is someone completely separate from a team, then I would suggest try to get in contact with them and try to do things together instead of receiving something and working with it.
Absolutely. So I think this answers the question. We'll move on
And
to the next
otherwise, hit me up
question.
on LinkedIn or whatever. Ask the
Yes,
question
yes,
again
yes.
there.
Audience are free. They could ask you, they could connect you with you on
Yeah, yeah.
LinkedIn, and they could freely ask the questions. We'll move on with
Yes.
the next one also. Uh, I have some, really good one. A very simple but an impactful
Hmm.
question.
Cool.
So, which one should a manual tester most be like?
Yeah. So I think manual. It's a bit difficult because ideally we would be all of those, right? But everyone,
Right.
like I think I'm mostly yellow. But I think a manual tester. I think for quality assurance, it can be really handy to have some of blue, like really analytical and know exactly what you do and know exactly which steps to take. Together with purple, like having also the overview of what impacts other teams and other applications. But manual testing, like if you do exploratory testing, you need some yellow. And if you want to work in a team, you also need some green. You need to care about your teammates to do a good job. And sometimes you need to make a decision, so you need some red. So my first blurting out would be a combination of blue and purple, but you, I don't know, I think you'd have it difficult without any of the others' personality traits, at least some of them. I also think most
Yes.
testers are a bit of everything because we have to
Yes,
be.
yes. Absolutely. So there's one more question, which is basically towards agentic side. Uh, so it says, should agents be allowed to modify the knowledge base they use to make future decisions?
So this is about agentic AI.
Yes, it is more towards automation. So should agents be allowed to make the decisions, modify the knowledge base for futures?
And
What's your take on this?
knowledge base would be all information about some ticket or some about some new feature.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah, so again, this question doesn't really connect with my presentation, but I can try to answer it anyway.
Yes.
So, if I see agents as autonomously testing robots, for example, and the knowledge base as information about a feature or a bug fix or whatever, then I think they may be allowed to modify the knowledge based the base they use on to make future decisions, but it should be really clear that they changed it, when they changed it, and why they changed it, and it should be like human overhead. So somebody should look at the changes before saying yes, this is correct.
Absolutely.
Because
Yes.
agents, it's nice that things happen automatically, but it needs to be traceable. So I think as long as it's traceable and someone has said, okay, I looked at this, I can explain it, I understand why this happens, then sure, go ahead. But never autonomously without any overview.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, yes, human in the loop, it's very important. We can't
Yes.
completely give them the access. Yes.
No.
Yes, yes. So that's all. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And thanks to everyone for such a patience listening. And thanks, Wessel. Thanks a lot. It was a really practical, experienced based, insightful session. And you answered all the questions in such an easy way. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's tag each other on LinkedIn and X with hashtag TestMuConf. And on LinkedIn, you could, just tell everybody what kind of personality you are, whether yellow, whether violet, whether red. Yeah, that would be a lot of
Yes,
fun.
and if you have any ideas, hit me up on LinkedIn and send me over some more personalities that you know of, or just share a story with me. Because, like I said, I'm serious about maybe making this into something useful, other than just a
Absolutely.
presentation. And any input is welcome.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And all these sessions that we are hosting will be there available on YouTube after the TestMu Conf. And before the next session, do visit our partner booths and join the contest that we are having, the certifications marathon, the KNI hackathon, the test survey, everything is lined up. You can go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks.